Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, September 27th, 2017. I am Rochelle Baptiste with the details. With air travel being a critical gateway to relief operations after natural disasters such as hurricanes, Chief Executive Officer of the Argyle International Airport, Hadley Bourne, is emphasizing the need for staff to be efficient in their duties during such critical time. Bourne, who was addressing persons at the opening of a two-day Port Resiliency Program workshop at the Argyle International Airport earlier today, thanked the Outreach Aid to the Americas, or OAA, America's Relief Team, the International Organization for Standardization, and FedEx for partnering with the AIA in the hosting of such a timely workshop. Bourne said that although the AIA has been open for only 7 months, they must ensure that they operate at a capacity to function, particularly in times of disaster.
Argyle being a new entity within SVG, that we would base our resilience in relation to airport disaster management and response. One of the main things of a port resilience program is to ensure that after a disaster or emergency, how quickly you can respond and be operational within as short a period of time while mitigating the challenges. And we know that from the national level with Ms. Forbes, that's something that NEMO normally spearheads, but we're looking at it totality from the thing of airport operations. And you've seen with recent events with our neighboring countries and islands how effective or how beneficial a program such as this is to a nation such as us.
Country manager of FedEx, Wendy Miners, said that the company is pleased to be a sponsor of the two-day workshop and encouraged the participants to learn as much as they can.
We are reminded of the importance of our ports, not only as vibrant and integral parts of our economy and trade machinery, but as key components of disaster relief. This underscores the need for our ports to develop strategies and protocols to minimize any downtime consequent upon damage by national disasters. It therefore behooves of us to give of our best to this worthwhile program and to absorb all that we can from the eminent presenters in the spirit of our personal and collective advancement.
CEO of the Outreach Aid to the Americas and the Port Resiliency Program, Dr. Theo Banbon, noted that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the 10th nation to conduct such a seminar. He said a lesson learned from Haiti's earthquake in 2010 is one where airport workers' needs were overlooked while they functioned.
There needs to be a program to deal with this kind of a condition. A resiliency program that includes taking care of the essential personnel at the airports. And thus, PREP was born. You are now the 10th airport in the Caribbean that is going through this discussion to try to be ready for situations of critical situations like that. So I thank you for being here today. I hope you get something out of this program, and that we'll never have a Haiti repeat itself again.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who is responsible for air and seaports, also emphasized the importance of the airport being a fully functional air facility, even in times of disaster.
So there is a certain infrastructure, but having the infrastructure and being able to do all what you ought to do when something happens is a different story. So we need, as always, to have what you're going to talk about at this seminar internalized as a noise in our blood and an echo in our bones, so that within the juridical frameworks that we have nationally and regionally and all the functional cooperation efforts that we have, that we will I look very carefully at your subjects, very interesting subjects. Improving operations and preparedness, which is a critical issue, for instance, in a new airport. Emergency communications and social media. Obviously, we have to get the information out. We have to be informing ourselves and get the information out also.
Queen's Counsel Panel Campbell, on his Law and You program on SVG-TV on Monday night, said it is important that government officials and other personnel here learn from the hurricane disasters in the neighboring Caribbean countries. Campbell said that the lessons must not only be about in the construction of buildings, but also countries must ensure that they have a financial capacity to lend assistance, as other larger nations may be occupied with their own matters before they respond to the needs of smaller islands.
Given the recent destruction of property in the United States of America itself and in Key West, Florida, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, the ability of the United States authorities to give assistance to the non-U.S. territories must surely be compromised. So that we are being told that it will take a long time before these affected islands could be rebuilt. Tourism has disappeared overnight. Agriculture has been damaged and destroyed, even in lush nature isle Dominica.
Campbell said Vincentians must also be cognizant to the fact that we are still in the hurricane season and to be generous to others.
Now, the hurricane season is not yet over, so let us not rejoice here in St. Vincent and Grenadines. We perhaps have been given a respite, and we have been given some time to think and plan. Let us do so wisely. There ought to be a sustained effort by us to discuss, in the light of what we have seen happening elsewhere, how best we can prepare ourselves in case the worst occurs. Of course, we are thankful to Almighty God for continuing to spare us. But as has been articulated, our turn might come one of these days. We hope it doesn't, but one never knows.
In other news, established through the collaborative efforts of Invest SVG and the Vinci Moto Sports Club in association with SVG AMP National Properties Limited, the Department of Culture, and the SVG Motorcycle Club, the Everything Vinci Independence Festival is seen as an added tourism product for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The 9-day festival forms part of SVG's 38th anniversary of independence celebrations and will give locals and visitors alike an opportunity to capture the true Vincentian identity. Nikita Tony tells us more about the launching ceremony yesterday in this report.
Under the theme, Come Celebrate 38 Years of Independence with Us, the overall concept behind the Everything Vinci Independence Festival is to highlight the rich Vincentian culture, food, enterprise, music, and motorsports activities during the month of October, when the country celebrates its independence. Scheduled to take place during the period October 21st to the 29th, a media launch for the festival was held yesterday, Tuesday, September 26th, where committee members, Ministry of Culture representatives, as well as other partners expressed their elation in being a part of the inaugural festival, noting that motorsport activities during the independence celebrations are heavily patronized. Chairman of the festival steering committee, Sanjay Jindani, outlined that plans are in place to make the festival a unique tourism product.
It's going to be one of the biggest sporting events for us here, and incorporating some cultural aspects of dances and so on, we will hopefully see a product that has never been done here. For this year, we can safely say that we have several of the neighboring countries that have committed to coming to celebrate independence with us.
Deputy Chairman of the committee, Andrew Phillips, gave an insight into the Invest SVG Everything Vinci Expo component of the festival.
The expo will be held over 3 days, the 27th to the 29th, and it will showcase a number of our local businesses. Only local businesses will be present, and we're hoping to have a significant patronage by the Vincentian public because it's important that we support our own one and that we are able to develop businesses here that are able to export goods in order to develop our own economy.
Having demonstrated their patriotism through the Indie Music Fest for over the past 3 years, one of the partners in the inaugural event, SVG AMP, according to its president, Bomani Charles, is pleased to be a part of the initiative.
We'd have to make some adjustments to our lineup and our presentation based on the layout of the Everything Vinci exercise. This is no longer a one-day participation for us. It's scheduled over a series of days. And so we're trying as much as possible to tailor the musical aspect of the Everything Vinci exercise.
Also speaking at the media launch was Minister of Culture Cecil Sesmaki, who commended the efforts of all parties involved in making the festival possible.
There's a new interest in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and there is a new interest in the tagline Vinci. And therefore, we'd be able to, through this mechanism, be able to promote both things. Congratulations to this grouping for this wonderful initiative, and I'm sure that it will go from strength to strength each year, and that we will be able to, as Vincentians, hold our heads up high and indicate that we really have something outstanding, excellent to offer.
Presenting a jam-packed schedule of events which include motorsport activities, musical performances, and a national color and social media hashtag day, the festival is promised to entertain, enlighten, and encourage Vincentians and visitors alike. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
Vincentians are being encouraged to embrace a healthier lifestyle in order to avoid serious medical conditions such as kidney disease. This advice comes from Managing Director of Health Solutions, Pauline De Freitas, in an interview with SVG-TV News. De Freitas said communicable diseases such as diabetes and hypertension no longer only affect the elderly and appeal to persons to pay attention to their bodies.
The numbers that we're seeing here from an outpatient standpoint, along with, I'm sure, other medical professionals that you'll speak to in the community as well, they will tell you diabetes and hypertension is no longer just happening to the elderly. It's becoming younger and younger and younger. It's visible in this population. 20-something-year-olds are presenting themselves with symptoms of headache, vision issues, confusion, tiredness, and they can't figure it out. But a lot of the times they're also not even checking themselves as well. They're just ignoring it as it's just a passing thing. I'm working too hard, or I'm overly tired, life is exhausting. What they're failing to realize is that that might be an internal issue, something happening that you actually have to pay attention to. Okay, diabetes the same way. If you look at our consumption of sugars, non-natural sugars, is very high.
De Freitas added that the consumption of alcohol also places persons at risk not only for liver disease but also kidney disease.
If you look at studies, they actually tell you that if you increase your alcohol consumption, it also increases your chances of getting high blood pressure. And if you look at alcohol, if you're not drinking the straight alcohol, you're actually adding chasers to it. We call it chasers. The chasers are a lot of the time are loaded with artificial stuff, and they're loaded with sugar. So you're again giving the body not only the liver aspect of concern, but you're also now knocking the kidneys too. And you're giving the kidneys much more work to be able to filter everything out. So as you see, it kind of goes into the same circle. And we try to educate people. I'm not saying that you can't have it. It's not natural of me to tell you not to do that. But what I can say to people is have everything in moderation. If you know that you're going to be having a very, I should say a fun-filled weekend, then you know that you have to pace yourself. If you know that on the weekend you're going to be eating bad, then during the week you try and actually work yourself out.
Whilst highlighting the specialized diet a person with kidney disease must adhere to, De Freitas stressed the need for moderation, even in cases where persons eat healthy foods.
I think in general, I mean, when patients get diagnosed with end-stage renal failure, so kidney disease taken its toll and has gone to stage 5, the diet aspect over there changes. You actually have to go into a renal diet, which is a low sodium, so low salt, low potassium, and low phosphorus. So all that education is done to the patients. But for a general individual in the community, then all we ask is that you have a balanced diet. Watch your carbohydrate intake, watch your portions. A lot of people will say, oh, I've been dieting but I'm not losing weight. Okay, so what is it that you're eating that you're not losing weight? And then they'll tell you they're eating natural stuff, but they're eating a large amount of numbers of it, you know, and you kind of think, well, 3 bananas is not necessary in one meal. 2 mangoes, 3 mangoes, quite a few, you know, quite a bit of breadfruit. No, these are, as much as natural as they are, there's still calories. So you have to really watch it, because a lot of this stuff, if you don't burn it, then it turns into natural sugars in your body, and then you have a problem.
Persons here living in an abusive situation told they must not be afraid to seek help. The advice came from the president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Human Rights Association, Samantha Robinson, as she delivered remarks last Saturday at the first in a series of panel discussions aimed at addressing the issue of domestic violence here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Expressing her disgust at the recent death of 2 women as a result of domestic violence, Robinson told the gathering that one should not tolerate any instances of domestic violence.
Do not wait until you are in a position that you can't ask for help. Not when you're in a hospital bed. We have to be our brother's keeper. We at Human Rights, we don't have that resource to do counseling, but we have the resource to point you in that direction if you need help, if and when it becomes necessary.
Stressing the need for persons to value themselves, the Human Rights President further added that persons who are victims of domestic violence should foster proper support systems.
Than to say, you have to look after what is your best interest. And if you live in a household with children, you have to look after their best interests. You're not going to be left undone. You're not going to be left undone. And I'm hoping that we could all be in this together so we can have strength, a backbone. So even if you think that you're dependent on and you need to get out of the situation, there's somebody that you could call, and it may be a family, somebody who could help you out of this situation.
Featured speaker at the event, psychologist Dr. Joselle Miller, echoed the call for persons to value themselves more, noting that this must be taught from a young age.
And this is very important, especially for mothers, to teach your daughters. Remember, we train persons how to treat us based on what we accept. And it is very important that as young women, that you start valuing yourself. Value your bodies, value your mind. See yourself as having something worthwhile to offer. Because if that value is not there for yourself, then it means no one else is going to appreciate your value and your worth.
Head of the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, Ruth Jacobs, said that the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is taking a proactive approach in dealing with the crime situation in the country. In an interview with SVG-TV News, Superintendent Jacobs assures the public that the police are intensifying their efforts and that criminals will pay for their misdeeds.
I don't have the evidence to say that, but once a person comes in the system, they are monitored from the time they come in until they are in it and after they leave.
So that's as much as you're going to tell me? They monitor?
Yes.
Secret intelligence?
The police is not leaving any stone unturned in these matters. And we are ensuring that all the perpetrators come to justice. And I want persons to know that we are intensifying our strategies, our intelligence, and we are making sure that the situation come under control.
Superintendent Jacobs admits that this country has a problem like many other Caribbean countries where the borders become a point of entry for illegal firearms.
The majority of crimes committed where murders are concerned, they were committed by the use of a firearm. And we have a problem in St. Vincent and the Grenadines where we have all of our borders unprotected, a number of them, and they can come in by any means, and who bringing them in, we don't know, and how they come in, we don't know, but they are coming, and they are here. So what do we do? We are asking the citizens to bring in any gun, any illegal firearm that you have out there, bring it in and hand it over to the police. Because if you see what is happening, that same gun is coming back to kill you. So I will advise the citizens to bring in the guns, any legal firearm available, any that you know of, or any information that you can give to us. It will be kept in strict confidence, and we will not publish any information as to how we get it from you. So we're asking you to cooperate and to ensure that you bring in any illegal firearm that is out there.
And Minister of Transport and Works, Senator Julian Francis, believes that the gun violence here is as a result of this country's inability to properly secure its borders. Minister Francis said that many persons engaged in illegal drugs usually accept firearm as form of payment, and this results in an increase of guns in the country.
It's known in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that men who sell weed and so on and whatnot, sometimes when the buyers don't have enough cash, they pay for it in guns and ammunition. I mean, that is something that we know about and that the police knows about, and that they have been trying to get involved in and to try and stop it. But as PM says and other persons know, this country is full of inlets and bays, and it is just not possible to have sufficient Coast Guard vessels and Coast Guard men and police to police all these bays and inlets and so on a regular basis, especially when the season is on.
Minister Francis expressed concern that there are turf or gang war in the country, resulting in revenge killings.
We have come to realize that there are gangs in and around our country. There's gang warfare. And out of this gang warfare, friends get killed, and then there's revenge taken. And the easiest way to get rid of each other these days is just to pull a gun on them and shoot them. There's a turf war. This is my neck of the woods. You don't cross this line. Don't come in here. One of my members get shot. I come back and shoot somebody else. The one who was shot in Vermont last night, I understand, his brother, or the one that was shot Friday night or Saturday. His brother was shot in broad daylight in Tokyo.
And the Seventh-day Adventist Church, in a statement on the crime situation in the country, expressed alarm at what it says as a relative ease with which guns are available in communities and are often used to commit the most heinous crimes. According to the church, no civilized society can remain indifferent to such violent behavior, and that to condone this new normal is to perpetrate the evil and put ourselves and families at risk. risk of living in fear, under siege, or becoming victims of crimes. The church says it strongly condemns all forms of crimes and violence and encourages all offenders or would-be perpetrators to draw back the curtains, look at their life, consider how valuable they are in the eyes of Christ, and refrain from sliding down the slippery slope of no return. The church also used the opportunity to express condolences to the families who are mourning the loss of loved ones. And the police here are carrying out investigations into the death of Michael Edwards of Lomans Hill. Edwards' body was discovered lying on the road at Lomans Hill this morning. A post-mortem examination is expected to be performed on his body to ascertain the cause of death.